yeah, thanks again for taking the time. So I guess how have things been? You said you just moved house. Like, I'm sure that was pretty hectic during all this.
Super hectic, but it's grand. I feel like because the thing is, I was living in a flat on my own before, just because I got it for cheap, like super cheap rent. It's like, yeah, it's been a lot because I feel like I haven't been settled properly for ages. So I'm really glad that, I don't know, I've just found somewhere now where like the people I'm living with are so nice, and the room's super cheap as well, which is lovely. And yeah, it's cool.
Is
I'm
it
back in.
conducive to making music and stuff? Like, are they cool with all that?
Yeah. There's 2 musicians in the
Oh, happy
house as
days.
well. Yeah, and like one of them's got a studio downstairs, and he's just like easy going. He's just
That's
like, yeah,
unreal.
whatever you want to use it. So nice. I was actually so lucky with it, but yeah, feels good.
Because I guess like just to take it the whole way back, like something I was super interested in was like you grew up in Spain.
Yeah.
Like my grandparents live in Spain actually, so I like spent
No
a lot of
way.
time there. Whereabouts did you live?
So like near Marbella, like the really like kind of where there's a lot of English and Irish people as well down there. So we moved when I was at 4 years old and left when I was 12. So like 8 years there. But yeah, it was cool. Like there was ups and downs with it, but I feel like I was so lucky to be able to grow up in the sun, and it was just a really good experience overall.
I mean, like pretty formative years of your life. Do you find that in your music because like one thing I noticed, like some of my friends that speak multiple languages, when they're with their family, when they're expressing one type of emotion, they'll speak in a different language. Do you find that when you're writing music that you swap to Spanish when you're trying to express certain emotions?
Definitely. I feel like sometimes, and I don't know what happened, but I feel like there was one tune, especially with Perdida, when I started doing that, where it was very specific to this one relationship. And I was like, well, it's like the most vulnerable part, I think, of the track. And I was like, well, if I do it in English, he's going to know what I'm talking about. So I'm just going to leave it in Spanish. And yeah, it worked out. So I've been doing that ever since, kind of whenever I feel like there's a part that I want to say, but I don't want to say it explicitly for that person to know. I'll just put them in Spanish. It's like a secret code.
They'll end up putting it into Google Translate and then
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, like I guess so was there anything sort of informing your music at that young age in Spain, or when did you sort of start taking music seriously at all?
So when I came to London, I was about 14, and before that, like I hadn't really delved into anything but like what was on like TV for music. Do you know what I mean? I didn't even like YouTube or anything like that. Then I came here and I didn't have a school for 6 months, and I was kind of alone a lot of the time. So I found YouTube and I was like, oh my God, this is sick. Like there's actually just people like playing tunes and recording themselves and putting it up. And I found a load of like folk artists and pop punk artists and stuff that I'd never heard of. And I was like, what? Like, it's mad. So yeah, I feel like during that time I was like, you know what? If they can write tunes and put them up, like why can't I? Like, and started making tunes off the back of that, just in my room with like a guitar or whatever. I was never very good, but yeah, I did that, and I used to upload them and then take them down and upload them again. And that's kind of where it happened, I think, where it started. And then open mics and stuff I started to go to then around 15, and then made a bunch of friends that used to do the same. And yeah, it just became like a thing of, I don't know, I feel like, without being super like soppy about it, I feel like it's a thing of, I don't know, whenever I've been like in a dark space or in a lonely space, like music has always come back into my life and been like a way to find community and family through it, So it's good. But yeah, that's kind of how it started, I think.
Because you can hear the folk influence in your lyrics, I think, in the way.
Do you think?
I think so. Yeah, I was reading some more
this
morning because I remember when Sunny first came out, and then I think we were still doing like track views or something at some point, and then I was looking into the lyrics and I was just like, I'm really not sure what this song's about,
Yeah, it's actually one of my saddest songs, but it just disguises a really happy one, like.
Well, it's a little bit the same with Switch as well. Like I think when you first listen to that, it's like, oh yeah, this is a banger, and then you go into the lyrics and it's like, But I think it has that kind of like folky aspect of like the storytelling, but it's like it's quite poetic, your lyrics, I think.
Thank you.
Is it like sort of a stream of consciousness thing that you end up writing the songs? Like you just put things down in your notes and then work from that?
Well, so how I work usually is, because the instrumentals I can't take any credit for. Like I work with some great producers that make the instrumentals before I'm either in the session, or like I'll add bits with them when we're in the session. But as for lyrics and melody, like the way I usually work is having a scratch mic in the session and kind of find melodies first, just by like freestyle melodies over, and then sometimes the melodies will like make like, do you know what I mean, like words will kind of just come out, and then I'm like, okay, cool, I know what I'm talking about now, and then just write off that. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I suppose it is just a stream of consciousness kind of thing. Yeah, I think so. Just yeah, free flowing.
It's pretty sick. Like, I think like the sort of collective you've got going with 98, like how much easier does it make it for you having similar amount of people that you can just bounce those ideas off? Because I've even seen, you know, like Mac Weather and stuff that you've worked with for a while. I can imagine you just have like a really easy working relationship in that sense.
Massively. Like, we'll literally go over to his gaff and just like have cups of tea and just like, yeah, and see his mom and stuff. And you're like, okay. It's super chilled out compared to like studio sessions and stuff like that. And I feel like a lot of the music is like kind of because of that, is being able to be so vulnerable. Do you know what I mean? Because it's just like, I know that I can say anything around him when it comes to like how I'm feeling, even if we don't talk about how maybe a relationship is gone or something before the session. Like, we already have this thing of like, yeah, just strip everything back and just like, yeah, I don't know, just able to be myself around him. But yeah, I feel like with 98 in general, I mean, like, especially after signing to a major and stuff, like, it's great and it's been really, really cool. But also sometimes you kind of, I think you need to, like, I kind of sometimes second guess myself, and I'm like, oh, like, I just don't know how I feel about this track or da. And like with 98, I know that they're going to be completely honest and completely unbiased with me and always have my back, so I can go to them and ask them, and they'll do the same. Like, we always kind of, yeah, help each other out in that sense as well, where we're just like, listen, if you're not sure, yeah, it's just good. It's a really nice thing. I'm seeing them soon, actually. I haven't seen them in ages. I miss them a lot.
Have you not seen any of them since lockdown?
So I saw Lloyd, and then I saw Ava for her what did I see her for her birthday. We went on a boat, which was nice. But yeah, I haven't seen a lot of them though. Yeah, she had her friend owns a boat, so there was just about 3 or 4 of us on the boat. It was nice.
Classes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, something that I think as well is really cool is that obviously you and Lava are like 2 of the most prominent members of 98, and there's not really a huge amount of collectives that have that are sort of female led. Do you feel any sort of pressure in that sense, or do you just sort of like take that on and it's good for younger women to be able to look up to you?
Yeah, I don't think there's any pressure with it. I feel like I don't know, I don't think there is. I feel like because everyone's so supportive in it, and there's no sense of like, oh, like, I don't know, someone's the leader, someone's did it. I feel like everyone's just like backing each other so much to the point that you don't feel nervous or like super pressured for anything. Do you know what I mean? It just feels like the way it is, and I mean, I don't know. Sorry, I feel like I'm not making much sense today, but
no, 100%. Yeah. 100%. Like, I sort of feel like as well during lockdown, I've just become totally socially inept. Like,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, honestly, like, I went to football training the other night, and our coach like had a child, and first thing I said to him was like, "Oh, how's it going?" and the kid was just sitting there, and I like didn't say anything about it. No. Like, I'm a fucking idiot, you know. It's like normally you just be like, "Oh, congrats," and it's just like little things like that have just went out the window.
You just forget, like. Yeah. Or forget social cues as well. Have gotten really like awkward. So like, even I'll be in the middle of a conversation and I'll just be like, "Oh yeah," and then I'll walk away and I'll be like, "What am I doing?" Like, it's not like a text. You can't just come back to it. It's just like, what's she doing? But yeah, it's fine. We'll get used to it, I think.
Have you been worried at all about like what the future looks like for you? I think like something that we've been talking about is that gigs, if they're having to be socially distanced or whatever, might cater to certain artists. So like, I actually feel like your gigs could be amazing even if there was distancing between people, because when we seen you at Longitude, you know, it was just silent at times, and you know, you didn't need like moshing or anything like that. Do you think that could be good for you?
Well, maybe. I mean, there's just no way to tell, I don't think. But I'm interested to see, because now that we've got Switch out and we've also got this new track coming out next month as well, that's like pretty dancey and stuff. I feel like, and we're having a live drummer next time we go on tour as well. So the energy of the shows, I think, are going to be a little bit different, which I'm really excited for, but I also just don't know how it's going to work. So we'll find out, I suppose. But yeah, you're right. I think the audience that has come to a lot of shows, have been super like respectful and quiet, and I know that's something that I've always like really admired. Like even in open mics and stuff, if people are talking to your chat, I'm like, shut up, like just stop or just go outside and have a chat. Like, why are you chatting through someone's set? So I'm really glad that there's like a real, I don't know, a real respect and a real bond, I think, when you're on stage and people are like, oh no, we're here, and like, yeah, and yeah, I don't know, it's cool.
Yeah, I totally get that, because I think even at that Longitude gig, it felt like a lot more personal than some of the other acts that we'd seen that day.
Definitely,
because it was in that smaller tent, and then it seemed like everyone was just really into it.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I feel like I had a really good time that night, actually. I stayed, wait, was that? No, it was a Let Your Picnic. I stayed way too long for Let Your Picnic because I was supposed to go home after the set. And do you know when you're buzzing after set, I was like, oh, fuck it, I'll just stay out. And I met those guys. Who did I meet? Because the thing is, my tour manager was like, Jess, like, if you're not coming back with us now, like, you need to find a way back to Dublin. And I was like, don't worry, like, I'm fine, I'll sort myself out. So they all like, yeah, so they all left. And then I met these guys, Kneecaps, you know them?
Oh yeah,
met
yeah.
them, yeah,
Right,
and they were
yeah.
class, and they were just like, just fucking stay with us, like, I'm like sick. So it was them and Happy Alone, and we all kind of like camped out near each other, and they were so sound. And then one of the guys from Happy Alone, his mom gave me a drive back to Dublin. I was like, thanks. But I stayed the whole weekend when I wasn't supposed to, but it was so fun.
Because we live up in Belfast, and like we would bump into Kneecap quite a lot.
Oh no, they're hilarious.
Mad,
They're
like,
actually hilarious.
Mad.
Like,
yeah.
yeah.
Would you know much about like what's going on in Ireland musically? Because even though you're saying you live in Spain and live in London, you still got a bit of an Irish accent, like.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I feel like it's just the way I speak. I don't know.
Yeah,
it hasn't really gone. I mean, I think for a while, did I have? I don't know. Whenever I go back to Ireland, they're like, "You sound so English." I'm like, oh. And over here, it's all confused. But Irish music scene, I think there's a lot to be said. There's a lot of artists that are just coming up now that I'm like, that's just sick. Like, who was I listening to there the other day? Gaff? Is his name Gaff?
Yeah.
Guitar,
yeah,
he's insane.
Yeah,
so good. He's like
Dominic Fike or something.
Yeah, Bakar or something, like in that world. He's so cool. And then who else? Y Axis.
Yeah,
he's mad cool. Kneecap. There's a Denise,
Chile,
who's an MC. Yeah, she's incredible as well. And Sayla V, is that her name?
Mm-hmm.
She's sick. Yeah, there's some that are really cool artists coming out now recently. But yeah, I hadn't really delved into it too much until this year. I think the person I was seeing was like, oh yeah, all of these artists are so good. I was like, what? I feel like it's just hard to get I don't know, music promoted, I suppose, over here a lot of the time, because a lot of people here would just listen to people from London or like from America or stuff. Yeah. But I feel like it's kind of reaching the gap at the minute, which is really, really cool.
I think you've got like there's a couple of people who've made that sort of crossover, like Kojak and stuff.
Yeah. His gigs here go off as well. Like people just it's really cool.
We saw him in Manchester like a couple of years ago now.
Yeah,
it was really good. It was in a really tiny room as well.
Oh mad! The energy he brings to a show is so good. Like,
yeah, for sure.
Because I guess I noticed that it seemed like he was working on an album by the looks of it, and I was wondering, like, it feels like surely it must be near time for you to bring an album out, a few EPs, come out and stuff like.
So this is the thing: is I'm literally like in discussion with the label at the minute, because I'm like, there's these tracks that I made just before lockdown started with this guy called Luca, and he's just one of the best producers that I've ever worked with. I think he's just class, and we found this sound that feels like it's in its own little world with the different tracks that we made, and it feels like tracks for an album. Like, it actually just feels like the right thing. I mean, maybe I'm just like really gassing myself up now, but it feels like it just feels right. So I'm like, okay, cool. And the discussion with the label now is like the tracks to release this year, and then thinking about next year and stuff, because I don't know, people are talking about maybe a mixtape and but I'm just like, I'm actually been waiting to drop like an album for so long. Let me just not overthink it, put the tracks that I like on it, have the whole like aesthetic running through it, and yeah, so we'll see. I'm like in discussions about it at the minute, but I feel like hopefully next year.
Is it that kind of more dancey vibe like you were saying before?
Is it more dancey? Not really with those tracks. Like the next track is like a lot more funky, kind of like a disco vibe to it.
Mm-hmm.
But the tracks that I'm like talking about are more kind of in the world of like, who would I think about when I'm talking about it? It's weird. It's kind of like nostalgic, but it's like a lot moodier, but not as like chilled out. So I don't know how to describe it. I'll send you something at some point, maybe.
That would be amazing. Yeah, because we literally started lockdown, like we just got into bad habits, just like sitting smoking on our balcony, just like listening to just because there's nothing else you could do. And like Switch was like the one we had on that sort of
thank you.
Yeah.
I'm actually so surprised at how that was responded to, because I really didn't think people were gonna be like, oh yeah, cool, like she's doing a different sound now.
Oh, it absolutely slaps. Like it slaps.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it felt like a sort of like a coming out or something, because it's like you've got the whole like sort of lo-fi, like almost bedroom, like hip hoppy thing, and then I mean, you're like, oh yeah, Biig Piig's got this new tune, but it's like it's really like drum and bassy.
Yeah.
But the video for it is sick as well. Was it always intended to be animated, or was that like a lockdown thing?
It was basically like we were supposed to do it all in real life. The like plan for it was basically the treatment of the video was the same, where we were going to be in a car, there's going to be this big car chase, and at the end of the car chase there was going to be this big warehouse where we'd have different collectors from London, like 9/8 and EM and whoever else, like Society Alumni and all those, all in the one room with like the Fuck Boris group, who were like they put on events and stuff, and we were going to have the big stage and just talks and music and all of that. But at the very end, so we could use the music video and the budget to like kind of have an event as well. But then what happened was obviously lockdown happened, and they were like, we're all going to die if we do that. So Alice then came forward and she was like, well, I'll illustrate it for you if you like. And she's sick. Like her style is just mad.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad that we did do it animated, because of how like well it turned out. Like she did it frame by frame. I don't even know how that. She's so cool. But yeah. So I'm glad that we did it like that.
Yeah, I guess like something that I was thinking about when you said you're designed image and stuff. Do you think that like that has changed your approach to anything, or do you feel like you just do the same but you just have those extra resources now?
So I feel like it's kind of a combo of both. I definitely have so much more so many more resources and so many more like opportunities to be able to bring the creative to the place I wanted it to be. Do you know what I mean? Which is cool. But what was the other one? Oh yeah, but it is also like a thing of, it's changed my schedule in a sense of like I wasn't a person that would go to studio like every day, all day, like all the time. Before lockdown happened, like I was in the studio constantly. There was like 2 days maybe where I wasn't, a week, or not even that, like 1 day a week where I wouldn't be. And it was good. It was really good. But at some point you're like, I don't even know what I want to write about anymore. Like, do you know what I mean? It gets to that point. And my managers were also like, Jess, like, let us know if it's too much. And I'm always one of those persons that's just stubborn. And I'm like, I can handle it. Like, stop. But it did kind of, but it did kind of get to that point where I was just like, fucking hell, like, you can't rinse. Do you know what I mean? You can't rinse it. Like, you just need to do it when it feels right. So I think lockdown has almost been a blessing in that sense, very selfishly, but has been a blessing in that sense where it's just like, okay, it's been a bit of a break now. Let me go back into this and make sure that I work the way that I want to work. And do you know what I mean? I can say no to certain things and whatever. I don't know, it's kind of boosted my confidence that way. So yeah, hopefully there's light at the end of the tunnel. But I mean, I'm such a fucking privileged fuck for even being like, oh my god, I'm in studio like all the time. Shut up, Jess. Like, no, but it's just, I think it's just a case of like learning how I want to work and learning that it's okay not to be working all the time, and to, I don't know, to just take a breather and stop piling on tunes into this big bucket, because it gets confusing then. You're like, I don't even know at this point what to release or what to put out, or do you know what I mean? I think I need to just pull back a bit and be like, this is what I've got, and then work from there. But yeah. Sorry, I went on a bit of a rant there.
No, it's class. Like it sort of sounds like then you got that clarity then when you started making these other tunes for the album, that like you don't have all these other ones floating around your head. You've just got these ones. It's a certain sound, and you know that'll go towards something.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Because I don't feel like I don't feel like there's a rush either, because you've already got so much music out anyway. It's not like anyone's like,
that's true. That is true.
I've got that one Biig Piig song to listen to. You've got like the whole 3 EPs and then a couple of singles. But I've seen you doing a lot of the like sort of like the Jools Holland live at home thing, and then another concert as well. What do you think of those? Do you enjoy them?
So with the Jools Holland one especially, it was really cool because we got more creative direction than we would have done if we'd done it in the studio. So like, because usually it's like a live audience and they set up the studio or the stage and stuff, but because it wasn't there, they were like, if you have any ideas and stuff about how we can use the space. So I sent over like a few ideas of like the different colored rooms. Originally it was going to be 4 squares, but they were like, we don't want it to look too much like a music video. So I brought it down to 2 and showed me different angles I could do, and we just like worked together on it, which is so cool. So I feel like that really, I don't know, I feel like I was lucky to do it that way in that sense. And also there's no audience or no pressure really when you're doing it at home because you're in your environment anyways, you know? So yeah, I think in that case, yeah, it was really, really good. Whereas live stream shows, when it's like my own shows and it's more than one track or whatever, I don't know. Because obviously we're doing one next month, I just don't know what it's going to be like. I think it's going to be kind of awkward, like after every tune and being like, oh yeah, all right, next tune, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there's no applause or nothing, and there's no like atmosphere, I suppose. But I don't know, we'll make it work. I think if we do good like on the set design and we make it into like something that's visually stimulating, I think it'll be fine. And it'll be fun. But yeah, just there's no way to tell, I guess, until it happens.
Like, this is completely random, and I'm going to go back to another point, but just something that I had in my mind was in Slowthai's video for Doorman. Is that you?
Yeah.
I knew it. Like, I knew it because I seen that one time and I was like, what the fuck? And I couldn't work out, but I'd never had it confirmed. But yeah, just wanted to ask.
Yeah, no, it is.
How did that come about?
So we had a session there ages ago where I met him, and he was really, really sweet. I mean, he was doing a session with Lloyd, and then I was just in the room, whatever, just came out to meet him. And yeah, he's a lovely man. Like, he's so sweet. He's real, like, you kind of talk to him and sometimes you go into this like vortex of like just like theoretical conversation. You're like, oh, I need like a cigarette break or something. But he was like, he's so cool, like he's lovely. And then his manager as well is sound. And yeah, they just asked me to come out. He got my number and just gave his text and came out for the video shoot. But yeah, and then I saw him in Paris as well. Actually, I fucking made a fool of myself that time. I was just like drunkenly dancing with someone that was like at the video shoot, and I completely forgot who he was. And then yeah, I got to the video shoot and he was like, "Oh my god, hey!" And I was like, "I don't know you." And he was like, "Yeah, yeah, you do." Like, oh, it's awful, but here we move. But yeah, it was cool for them to ask me. It was nice.
Yeah, the other thing I was going to say, like back to that other point, was like you're saying about live streaming. Have you ever thought about doing Twitch? I've seen like so many people doing that, and it's like quite interactive.
Yeah. So what? I don't really know too much about Twitch now. Is it like? Because I thought it was more for like gamers and stuff now.
See, it was, but now like Kenny Beach, Slowthai, they're all jumping on it, and like it's way more interactive, and like they'll like show snippets to fans of music, and you know, like you're saying about like applause and stuff. And if I think there's certain ways if you do something in the chat, it'll applaud and stuff. So maybe if you were performing, it'll do that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But it's just better in an Insta live where your phone's probably away from you, and you're like, you can't see what's going on Twitch. It's a lot more immersive.
That makes a lot of sense. I might look into it, to be fair. I don't think we've actually like done a platform yet that we're going to use. So that's really good to know. And
Bebo,
also, isn't it like...
just needs to come back, like, you need to bring back
Bebo.
I mean, bring it back, like...
Bebo was great.
Yeah.
Do you remember, like...
I never used Bebo.
You never used it?
No.
Man,
I think it was like an Irish thing a lot of the time. Like, all my mates had it, none of my mates at uni had it. It was really weird, yeah.
Yeah, and you'd have all the little gifs and stuff. People thought they were so cool with their gifs.
Yeah,
so good.
Your top friend and all that, like some mad memories. But yeah, I think like we haven't even got Zoom games, so I don't even know how much longer this can go. So
let me see. It'll tell us something. I think it'll tell us when we're gonna. Oh shit, my phone's on 10%. Let me just plug in.
So, what other tunes have you been listening to in lockdown? Who have you been enjoying recently?
Who have I been enjoying? I'm not gonna lie. You see that corn, wine, and cheese playlist I did? I know you did, but
just on Spotify,
Yeah, because I was asking like people on Instagram and stuff what they're listening to, and then I'd say what I was listening to. So I've literally just been rinsing that playlist like over and over. So yeah, a lot of artists like Skeety and like Apex and Gaff and like who else? Some like Spanish artists I've never really listened to before. Sofia Gabbana, I've listened to her loads. She's so sick. Nathy Peluso, and yeah, just a lot of what's on that playlist, to be honest. I feel like there aren't many bad tunes in that at all. So yeah, I'm doing that.
It must be pretty mad. Like, just do you think it's ever overwhelming? Like, if you can just stick something on Instagram and you can just get like hundreds and hundreds of recommendations for that kind of stuff. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that sort of interactive
so cool
stuff.
And to hear what people are listening to that listen to your music as well is so interesting. Like, because I was really like pleasantly surprised in that like a lot of the tunes that they listen to I really enjoy as well. So I'm like, oh cool, like we're on the same page that way as well, which is really cool. But yeah, do you guys have any recommendations?
I've been listening. Well, both of us have been listening to a lot of like New York rap sort of stuff. You know, like Mums. So like Madonna. They're all like kind of spawned by Earl Sweatshirt, but like Madonna, Mike, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. There's
Mike Eagle.
Sorry,
Mike Eagle.
No, but we do listen to him as well.
I love both Mike Eagle though.
Yeah,
he's so good. Yeah, and the EP that he did with Paul White was amazing as well. But no, it's just like Mike all caps. It's quite hard to find actually. It's kind of an annoying name to put in Spotify.
Would you send us it, please?
Yeah. And the other people I've been listening to is I got sent through that Parallel EP that he's got coming out. And like the song with Green Tea Peng that just came out on it is just
it's so good, so glory.
Yeah.
They kill it. I was supposed to go see him actually. I think we've got a session tomorrow or something. No, not tomorrow. It's next day.
But like, what do you think is so compelling about that underground London scene at the moment? Because it just is just like he just sort of described it to me as like there's a train going around London, people just hop on, hop off, and they need to be there, and everybody knows each other. Like,
yeah, exactly. I feel like I don't know what it is. I feel like with the underground scene here, especially, there's just like a feeling that goes throughout. I think even in the music and stuff, the mood is kind of like not worlds away from each other. I don't know what does that, to be honest. It could be like the speed that the city is at like all the time, which is just like super fast paced and everything's so quick. And there's just, I don't know. I feel like when you're in a room together, like it's just kind of, I don't know. I don't have all the answers. But, but yeah, it's really cool. If you guys get the chance, like come over whenever, like if you haven't been over already. Yeah, so nice.
So young.
I actually, I go and visit like a couple of times a year usually because my brother lives there, and I was
born there. No way.
Yeah.
Jeez, that's where I'm living now.
Oh, really? Whereabouts?
In Forest Hill. It's like southeast.
I was born in Bromley, if you know where that is.
Oh no way.
It's a bit more like suburby, but but yeah, I've been down a few times. Yeah, I love London. Do you ever see? Do you see yourself like staying there long term?
See, this is the thing is I've been here now for like this is the longest I've ever lived anywhere. So I think it is anyways. I moved here when I was 14. I'm not gonna do the maths, but I think like even though I've been here for ages and ages, I just still don't feel like I know the place inside out, and I still don't feel like completely settled. And I don't know whether that's the case of like all the drama that's happened without the few years where I've been moving loads and everything else, or what it is, but I never felt completely settled here, and I just don't think I ever will, maybe. And I love it so much, but I don't really know, to be honest. I would like to move, I think, at some point. I don't know to where, though. Maybe like Paris for a bit or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah, but I don't see myself settling down here. But then again, sure, who knows what's going to happen, like. But yeah.
I think a lot of people say it that way.
Like,
we've got a close mate who's moved down, and like, he loves it, and he's like really involved in the political like activist scene. But he has like a similar thing about just like not really seeing himself there long term. I think it just like how fast moving and sort of
literally like
not unsociable, but like impersonal, I guess.
Yeah, it can be really tough. I've heard like a lot of friends that moved here from Ireland. Even it's like there's not that same kind of, I mean, like there's senses of community for sure, 100%, but it's just not the same, I think, as Ireland. It's like, I don't know, people don't really, it can be really isolating, do you know what I mean? I think if you come over, especially not knowing many people and stuff, unless you already found your roots and your people, like it's really difficult to get back into, I don't know, into meeting groups or into meeting people.
I think like I moved over to Manchester to go to university, and I came from a tournament, like tiny town basically, and like I think there is like significant cultural differences between like small town Ireland and London, you know what I mean? And I think it is difficult. Like my parents lived there for like 3 or 4 years, and they were just ready they were ready to go after that. They enjoyed their time, but they were ready to go after that. Like
that's it. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but it's a beautiful city.
Yeah.
Do you sorry,
no, go ahead.
Do you find it's like more the place that inspires you musically, or like your experiences with people?
I think my experiences, and also just like an inwardly like experience in environments and stuff, I think. So maybe less so about London and more so about where I'm at in my head and where I'm at, and how I'm feeling. I think about it, like, because it could be London or anywhere else. It's just a case of like, I don't know, like, I think it's more so up here than like whereabouts I am. I don't know. But yeah, but definitely, actually, to be fair though, as well though, I owe everything to, and my sound and everything else would never have become what it is without being here. Do you know what I mean? I don't know, like, I don't know how it would have panned out, but the whole reason that I do music now and the whole reason that I was opened up to a whole load of different music was because of the people that I encountered here and like the experiences that I had here. So I don't know, it's a bit of both, I think. Yeah.
What are you doing with the rest of your day?
So I'm going to studio with Zach. He's the guy that made Switch. We've made kind of like this kind of like skatery vibe track with like the BPMs kind of fast as well. And
Avril Lavigne meets the dance floor kind of vibe.
Yes. No, it's actually more like, do you ever hear Modern Baseball?
No.
Days off in me thinking about you every day. No.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that, and I'm loving it. So I'm gonna go there, finish that tune, and another one we've got called Oh No, and then I've got a styling meeting after that, where we're gonna pick out outfits for the shoot that I've got tomorrow for the new music video, which is out next month. So it'll be good. We're going to this fucking weird like mansion in the North London to film it, which will be sick. But yeah, it's very glam. I was like, I want like all of these lights and like drastic makeup and drastic gowns and stuff. And now that it's like nearing the time, I'm like, that's so out of my comfort zone. But it'll be good though. It'll be good.
Yeah, I think when like we've all been living in our pajamas for like 3 months in lockdown.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Weird.
I haven't shaved my legs in a long time. I need to tomorrow. I need to like pamper myself, get myself ready. Like, yeah, it'll be good though.
Yeah, it sounds great. It sounds great.
Yeah, but like, thanks so much for taking the time to speak this.
No, thanks. It's been lovely.
Yeah, we'll give you a shout next time we're in London or whatever. But
that'd be sound. I'll send you over as well the track for next month to be like, just don't send it anywhere else.
Yeah,
trust
of course.
you.
Yeah. But yeah, enjoy the rest of your day, and I hope the shoot goes well.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks, lads. Have a good day.
No worries. See you later.
Bye. Bye.